That's in a very...
You would have discussions, I mean, fiery messages against fornication, against adultery, against sexual sins. The church has been shouted down as far as that's concerned, and we have become more accommodating, and you hardly hear it. We cannot think here that 13-year-olds in Barbados are just open and willing to have sex. That is a clear sign of abuse.
Yes.
Somebody had to introduce one that's not a peer, but someone much older and someone who ought to know better than to allow this 13-year-old to be engaged in such an adult responsibility.
Yes.
Would you agree with that?
Yes, definitely.
Yes. So I hear you also make allusions to the fact that in Barbados there is a prevalence of statutory rape. That's how we got to put it. We got to say it plain.
Yes.
You know, where incest, where a family member is abusing a younger member of the family, particularly the girls.
Yes.
And increasingly now we're seeing it happening with boys, but that's not your area that we are addressing today. And then we are seeing also that there are persons that they engage in the street. Some of the young girls who are going to secondary school for the first time this semester are going to run into people on their journey, on the vans that they're traveling in,
yes,
on the buses that they're traveling in, who is going to try to lure them into sexual activity, and we know this happens.
Yes.
And of course, there are underlying issues: absentee fathers, the need for affection, the need for affirmation.
Yes.
We are aware of these things that are happening, and this is absolutely disturbing. And then, like you said, it's swept under the carpet. Families don't want to be in the news. They don't want their names printed.
Right.
We're in a small society. Parents don't want their names to be reported in the news. So therefore, they rather hush it. Lawyers get together and
yeah,
a nice, easy payment. But what about the scars that
exactly,
that child is going to go through?
Exactly.
I just want to pause, however, to say that in spite of the horror, there's something that we need to remember, that no matter under what condition that child is conceived, be it rape, be it abuse, be it a poor mistake, be it poor judgment, or be it just regular living that has given rise to conception. What is beautiful in all of this, which I think you have discovered, and I want to applaud you for, is this is what God's word says in Psalm 139 that drew me to this as you were speaking. You created me, my inmost beings. You knitted me together in my mother's womb. I praise you because I am fearfully and wonderfully made. Your works are wonderful. I know that full well. My frame was not hidden from you when it was made in the secret, when it was woven together in the depths of the earth. Your eyes saw my unformed body. All the days ordained for me were written in your book before one of them came to be. How precious to me are your thoughts, O God. How vast is the sum of them. Were I to count them, they would outnumber the grains of sand. When I awake, I'm still with you. And I think that's the beauty in all of the misfortune that we're discussing.
Yeah.
That within all of that sociological dysfunction, there is a child.
Yes.
Talk about pro-life. We can't talk about helping a young woman make a decision not to abort a child without thinking about the outcomes. So talk to me about your work as you speak to young women, and what do you say to them to try to dissuade them from having that abortion? What do you do?
Okay, so 3 years ago, we would have opened our Pregnancy Resource Center, which is a place where we offer tangible support to these women.
And quantify that. When you say tangible support, break it down so that our audience may
Right,
know.
so we offer this support through two main programs, a program called Earn While You Learn And Earn What You Learn is an education incentive program where clients earn what we call mommy money or daddy dollars from attending sessions on pregnancy, parenting, and self-development. So that program is about a year long. Each week as they attend sessions, they earn this mommy money, and they use that then to get items for their babies from our baby store, which is located at our office. So that the aim of that program is really empowerment, because we, of course, even though we encourage you to choose life, we cannot support your baby for 18 years. So that program is to give you the skills to have a healthy the tools, the education to have a healthy pregnancy, the tools to be a good parent, and then finally the tools to be better as an individual, be able to go into the world of work, make wiser choices going forward and stuff like that we would do in the Earn What You Learn program. We also have a program called Level Up, which is our education program. And in that program, we do CXCs and we do skills training. So to give them, to either help them with their education or to give them skills that they could use immediately. Just yesterday, one of our clients launched her jewelry making business. Okay. So those are some of the things that we aim to do to give you a skill that you can use to generate income on a short-term basis. But as we meet with clients, many times, first of all, when persons call on More Justice, it is because they want another option.
Right.
If they did not, they would just go to a place that they can have a termination. So the fact that they come to us already means that they are looking for some other way, tap into what their fears are. They're not able to support the child, and then we would, let them know what it does and how we could assist with part of it. When it relates to clients who say maybe unemployed, because many times we let them see that sometimes your circumstances are temporary and you don't need to make a permanent decision based on temporary circumstances.
That's good. Good. I like that. I
yes.
like that.
So we've had persons during COVID who, were in a good position before, but now they're found themselves on hard times.
Right.
Right. So circumstances change.
Right.
It won't always be the same. So because right now you are in a hard place doesn't mean you need to make that permanent decision. So we really are there to support. Many times women just need support if the support. We have a client who it wasn't for financial reasons or anything that she came to us, but she was diagnosed with cancer. And she made a brave decision to continue her pregnancy despite
that's brave.
Yes, the
That's
advice
brave.
of
That's
her
brave.
doctors. And she was able to carry her baby to term, and now she has started chemo. So she wanted a place that could just give her support during that time.
Excellent.
So many people just need someone to walk with them hand in hand to let you know that we are here for you many times. So we let them know how More Justice could walk alongside you. We can't force anyone to continue their pregnancies, but we let you know how we can be of assistance to you.
Beautiful.
Help them, give them hope to know that their circumstance is not forever. And sometimes we have other clients who would talk to them. I think for me, one of the most touching things that has happened to me on More Justice was walking into our office one day, and we had a client who had an appointment to have a termination the same week, and we had other clients who had come for class. So she had come for her appointment, and then the other clients had come for the Earn What You Learn class. And I walked into the reception area, and here were the clients surrounding her, encouraging her to keep her baby.
So now they had become a support group.
Yes, yes. And
Very
they
good.
would have been in the same
Position she
as her
was.
just a few months prior.
That's
But then they were
excellent.
able to
Excellent.
rally around her, encourage
Excellent.
her. Because then when you get that baby, you realize, even though this was a very dark time, you get through it, and a baby really is a gift and a joy to them.
Wow, that is absolutely wonderful. Again, if you just tune in, you missed some of the excellence that we are seeing here with our special guest, Sister Camille Martindale of Unborn justice. Broadcasting here live, discussing here with me from First Baptist Church, Bridgetown, Barbados, in our midday manna session. You really have to share this with your all your contacts, all your friends. This is a significant matter. And I really hate to cut your stride. You were doing such wonderful job there in sensitizing us to your work, and I think you're doing an excellent job. What about the issue of, because while a person may change their mind about not aborting the child, bringing the child to term, bringing the child into this world, giving the child an opportunity to live, they still may not want to raise the child for whatever reason.
Right.
And I'm sure it doesn't only have to be because of some catastrophe, like I was raped, so I'm not going to love the child, or what, something like that, but extreme. But they may not still want to have the responsibility of raising a child.
Right.
Does adoption ever come up?
Right, so we do present adoption as an option. Adoption definitely is a viable option. Currently, well, the Child Care Board is the only agency who is allowed to do adoptions. So if you have a client who is interested in pursuing adoption, then we would direct them to the Child Care Board.
So right now in Barbados, you're saying that only the Child Care Board is authorized, the only agency that manages and handles adoption.
Yes.
I see. So is there any other option?
Yes, there are the adoptions where, back in the, before there was, auntie would have raised a child.
Correct.
And stuff like that.
Granny,
so,
another family member.
right, so there are persons who could have those private, personal adoptions of someone that they may know, and that person then will sign over guardianship of their child to that person, and then in 2 years, then the Child Care Board would then facilitate what is called a de facto adoption.
I see. So that's important to know. So you have a situation where the Child Care Board is the official agency for adoptions.
Yes.
But as you were alluding to, historically, sometimes a family came around a young woman that was pregnant, and the child was given to auntie to raise, or granny raised the child, and sometimes people didn't even know it was that girl's child.
Yes.
Some children thought that their mother was their big sister. And the family came around and helped raise the child, and the child lived.
Yes.
Of course, we did not have the unfortunate sophistication of abortions. We did not have that technology, thank God, even though there were always some things that people could do to terminate a pregnancy. So that's an area, I believe. Do you not think that we need as a country to look into that? Because if people know that they were loving couples, regular mothers and fathers willing to take children and to raise them rather than they're being aborted, that may be a good incentive for a person not to want to terminate. But sometimes you were explaining to me that even then sometimes the mother or the parents may say, well, I don't want to go through the pain of giving up my child that I raised. So adoption is not the sweet, easy, uncomplicated issue it is. Are there some complications that we need to think about when we consider adoption as an option?
Yes, I definitely agree that we can move toward other types of adoption. Developed countries have actually moved away from closed adoptions where the biological mother has no ties at all to the child, and I believe that would be a step in a good direction, and it will really encourage the culture of life. And also in adoption, what people don't understand is that it's definitely a challenge, and people see adoption in a negative light because they see it as giving up the child, which is why I don't really
see.
like that term. Because I've heard many people say that adoption is worse than abortion, that it is better for you to abort than to give up your child for adoption. But I think adoption is a very beautiful thing. We are adopted sons and daughters of God. Adoption is where a person, a birth mother, is able to say that I am not able to give this child the life that this child needs at this time, and so I am going to give you life, and I'm going to allow somebody else to raise you and give you the life that you may need. So I think it's a very selfless act on both the birth mother and the adoptive mother. So I think that that's something that persons need to be sensitized to, that adoption really is a beautiful thing.
Yeah, we need a national discussion on that, both from a personal psychological impact perspective, because you're making a valuable point there. The person is saying, I couldn't live with the fact that a child I carried, I gave away. And then, of course, there are all of the difficulties of reconnecting with that child, or the child having questions as to why you gave me up. Did you not love me? Was I not beautiful enough? Was I not desired? So adoption has its own complications. So we need to talk about that, so that the mother is given that kind of psychological support,
Yeah.
if that's a choice that she makes.
Yes.
And then, of course, it is important because, right now Barbados is in a crisis. I was attending a conference here in Barbados, and this young white male, and I'm saying it like that because we're 95% black here, so here's a young white male stood up. He's non-Barbadian, and said, by 2030, Barbados is going to have a severe crisis because, you're going to have such an large older population and a small young population, and you're not going to be able to sustain the older population. I was almost, I was offended at that. I said, excuse me? How you come telling that? Then I had to realize, whoa. This is not to be an emotional reaction here. Listen. And I guess I was embarrassed that this guy has stats that I never even considered. And he's right.
Yes.
The past government have indicated that we need more children.
Yes.
When former Minister of Education Ronald Jones said that, people were like, how dare you? We're just to breed and have kids. This present government, the Prime Minister herself, Prime Minister Mia Motley, have said that Barbados needs more people.
Yes.
And that sounds crazy at first. But we're going to have that upside down pyramid scenario. If we don't have enough young people working, able-bodied, to sustain the older generation with their pensions, with their NIS payments, etc., we're going to be in trouble.
Yeah.
Significant trouble if we don't have that strong, earning, able-bodied younger class. We see China in crisis as a result of their one-child policy. So we need a national discussion on the whole issue of abortion and the whole issue of adopting children, so that we can give the natural ability of this country to sustain itself.
Yes.
I'm really glad that you raised that right now. So in the 10 minutes or so that we have left, and I really regret that our time is flying, but give us a reading of the current situation as you see it. What is happening on the ground? What are you seeing happening? What is happening with our young women, our young men? We will not leave them out of the conversation because a woman does not get pregnant on her own. What is happening as you see? What are the trends, the patterns that you are seeing that we need to pay attention to?
I think that what we see happening in our society at large all ties into each other. So we have a generation of young people who lack love. And you mentioned absentee fathers, but something that we've been seeing is absentee mothers, which is very interesting to me. There are mothers who are absent from the homes. There are many children growing up without their mothers present, and it has had a detrimental effect on them. So we have a generation of young women who are looking for validation, who are looking for love, and many times then they turn to sex. And what we found as well is that young girls see a baby as a chance to have that unconditional love, which is
someone that loves me.
Yes.
That I own, that belongs to me.
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
And we know, of course, getting a baby doesn't solve your challenge, because then parenting is extremely difficult. But we have teenagers who think that having a baby is going to cure that loneliness, that lack of love that they feel. And then the guys, then of course, the responsibility of parenthood is so grand that many times then they leave and they're not involved in the ability to really parent, and then it is just
then someone else comes into life and
a cycle.
Starts all over again.
Yes, and then of course then poverty as well plays a role in as it relates to our clients. I would say 90% are from low-income homes, so very dire situations. So then, not being occupied in some way, then you have lots of time on your hand, and then it's just a vicious cycle.
Yes, this is unfortunate. And do you see that increasing, or do you see that is the line flattening, or is that line going up?
Well, currently because of COVID, it has been going up. But generally over time, I definitely would have not seen a decrease. I think there's so many aspects to come into play as relates to other social agencies, because obviously unborn justice can't do it all. So there needs to be really a partnership between different social entities to get this done, because there's a lot of need in Barbados. There's a lot of persons who are in need of mental health care and counseling, and to really break some of those thought processes that helps the cycle to continue. So there's so much that goes into it.
Oh my goodness. Well, the time that we have to use wisely here. Here is an excellent organization, a charity, started by 3 wonderful young people, Christian, godly young people, who've taken up a cause that is messy, unpopular, that brings them face to face with some harsh realities that people have as it relates to carrying a child to term, bringing a child into the world, and the challenge of raising that child. Sister Camille Martindale has been with us, and I want to encourage all of us to support her work. This is a work that needs support. Not just prayer support, absolutely prayer support. But we need to be able to add our voice to this conversation. We need to force discussion on these issues. We need to be involved, and we need as a church to get back to the message of morality and of propriety, so that our young women are virtuous, our young men have value and virtue. And we need to get back to that. But 2 questions quickly before we run out of time. How do people contact you, and how can you be supported? What levels of support can we give?
Okay, so our office is in the James Fort Building, number 26, James Fort Building, Hink Street, Bridgetown. Our telephone number is 266-8473.
Say that one more time.
266-8473. We have a website, www.unbornjustice.org, and you can also message us through the website as well. As it relates to support, definitely prayer support. We have volunteers. We usually close volunteer positions at the first quarter of the year, but volunteering in various areas. We have persons who come in to do sessions. We have persons who babysit while the mothers are in sessions.
That's good.
Yes, we have client advocates who will be like peer counselors. We have persons who do public education. So we go into schools, we go into churches, we teach about abortion and its impact. And so we have volunteers who assist with that public education as well. And of course, financial donations and also donations of baby items. We have clients who we have, our baby store has diapers, wipes, clothing, blankets, everything that a baby would need. And so we have to keep the store stocked for the clients. So persons can also donate baby items for the baby store.
That's wonderful. That's wonderful. And how is that level of support coming for you? Give us a sense of that level of support. Are you getting good support? What's the need right now that we can help you here?
Okay, definitely. The support right now is okay. Our support mainly comes from individuals. But as we seek to grow Unborn Justice and to develop our Level Up education program even more, and as we seek to other avenues, for example, housing is a big issue,
right,
because when someone comes and their family is going to put them out, we can't. Right now, we have no housing, so that's something that we are looking to do in the future. So as we seek to expand and implement these other programs, we definitely need funding on a larger level.
Wonderful. We have just about 4 minutes left. We have been talking with Camille Martindale of Unborn Justice, a pro-life or charity, homegrown, reaching out to young women, primarily between the ages of 16 and above, and those who fall below, outside of that category, who giving them an option to bring a beautiful life into the world rather than to have that child aborted. I'm going to let her give you the website information and the contact again, and we're going to make sure it's on this program. Come on, Sister Camille, tell us how we can get in contact with you again.
Okay, so you can call us at 266-8473, 266-8473. Our website is unbornjustice.org. We're also on Facebook as Unborn Justice and Instagram as Unborn Justice as well.
We need to be able to support unborn justice as Christian people and concerned citizens, because it's for all of us. It's not just a Christian issue, it's a national issue. If we do not have children, the next generation that is not here and forthcoming, none of us, we can't afford to get old. We need the children that God has blessed us with. Let me, before we close, read this, because we need to know that God has a very high value on children. It says in Psalm 127, Lord, children are a heritage of the Lord, and the fruit of the womb is his reward. His reward. And therefore, we need to have a high value of children, as we have a high value. Every one of us here have a navel on our stomachs, and that's there because a man and a woman conceive a child, give birth to that child, and raise us to where we are. We cannot kill our seed. We cannot allow our women's wombs to be tombs. We cannot. We haven't had time to even talk about the psychological scars, apart from the physical scars, that many women bear constantly, the guilt and the shame that many men bear, knowing that they could have been fathers and they denied a child from coming into the world. Unborn justice is needed in Barbados. It is a need, not a moral need only, it is an actual physical, economic need, and when we don't go God's way, we run into trouble. Thank God for this wonderful young woman who has seen this as a calling and not just as a means of just doing a wonderful thing in society, but a calling, a vocation. And we are grateful to you, Sister Camille. I want to thank you for being a part of Midday Manna, and I would like to humbly ask that at another time you can come back and we can see how you're progressing, and we
Sure.
can see how we can support you. I'm asking every member of our listening audience, set aside something. It doesn't matter how large, how big. Send your contribution to Unborn Justice, that we may support this. This is an organization that should be receiving government subvention. This is an organization that we should be all supporting, so that we can make sure that our country our hands are not defiled with blood. We're not careless and callous with life. We're not using abortion as a contraception, but we are making sure that every child that God has blessed to be conceived in the womb comes forth. Again, Sister Camille, thank you so much. Please give our warmest regards to your husband. Tell him we applaud him to be able to partner with you in this respect, and Mr. Grosvenor as well. And we want to applaud all of your staff, all who are working with you. We want to thank all of your sponsors, all of the people who have contributed. If you have skills and competencies, volunteer. If you have a housing that you can allow them to stay even short term, that's another way you can give. We're looking forward to seeing you again right here at on Midday Manor, broadcasting live from First Baptist Church, Bridgetown, Barbados. Tune in next week. We're going to have another special guest to see how the church is on the move in the marketplace, working to bring the gospel of Jesus Christ through good works. We hope this has been a good morsel for you today. Truly, it has charged my soul, and I am going to personally commit to see what we can do. May God bless you. Until we see you, tune in to our prayer this evening at 6:30, or we see you on Sunday morning at 10 o'clock. We're broadcasting live. The church is open to all, and we're looking forward to seeing you as we function within the directives of the protocols. God bless you from First Baptist Church and the support of Unborn Justice. God bless you.